13 on your sidelines. Sponsored by Rand Insurance Group. A better path forward.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sidelines Plus, where we discuss the top sports stories from this week that are West Michigan specific with an emphasis on high school sports. I am Matt Gard alongside Jacob Suess and, of course, Maddie Monroe. And here's what we've got coming up on tonight's show. Maddie got a chance to speak with an 11-year-old daredevil who participates in one of the most dangerous sports in the world. Jacob was at opening day for the West Michigan Whitecaps, and we're going to talk about some of the most exciting Tigers prospects you can see at LMCU Ballpark this summer. And the college basketball transfer portal is open. Some homegrown athletes are going to be at new schools next season. But first, we start with the sport that most people think of when they hear 13 on your sidelines. That is high school football. The new divisions for the 2025 season are out. Jacob, talk about those changes coming up this year.
Yeah, Matt, after a few years in Division II, Caledonia, they're going to jump back to Division I. You'll remember they made the D1 state final game back in 2022 with 13 on your sidelines. MVP of the year, Mason McKenzie at quarterback. Sparta, the Spartans, they're going to fall back down to Division IV after spending 3 seasons in Division III. Also in D4, Whitehall, they actually have the enrollment of a Division V school, but they're just one of a handful of schools across the state that actually opt to play up a division higher than when we usually see them at. For the last 3 seasons, Wyoming Lee has been playing 8-man football. Well, they're going to return to 11-man this season. They will also be in Division IV. And finally, guys, Belding has been in D5 since 2018. Enrollment there, though, has been steadily declining. The Black Knights are in Division VI now this season.
Now, Jacob, you said that I got free reign to talk about,
You were very excited about a lot of these changes.
I have the stage. Well, I pushed some videos, so we're going to run them in order, starting with Caledonia. I think the Scots, I don't know if they're in trouble or not, but Derek Pennington, their coach, is gone, and they are up a division. So out of all these schools, I think this is going to be a tough transition for the Scots, but you will remember that state championship game that they made it to a few years ago. It is just a question, can they rebuild and get back to where they were? Now, as for Sparta, this is a great move for the Sparta Spartans going to Division IV now. If we could see the Spartans, they are going to be in Division IV, a lot easier schedule for them. A few years ago, they did make the playoffs, and what did they get rewarded with, Jacob? They got rewarded with a road trip to Muskegon, where they absolutely got clobbered.
That's not fun.
It is going to be a little bit easier of a road for the Spartans next year, hopefully, if they can make the playoffs. Now, Whitehall staying in Division IV, opting up, interesting move for them as always. We don't see a whole lot of this. In fact, I think there's less than 5 schools in the whole state that have opted up a division.
They're not cowards over there.
No, they're not.
I love that.
They're not. They are not cowards at all. And guess what? They have given us some of the most memorable playoff games, particularly when they lock up with South Christian. So that is going to be fun to watch. Now, as for Wyoming Lee, I am very nervous for them. I am happy that they are back in 11-man ball. Obviously, that's where they should be. They have an enrollment in the 600, so they should not be playing 8-man ball. They've got their numbers back up, but it's a really tough division. You got South Christian in that division, obviously. We're going to see what the Legends can do. They're not in a conference this year, but they're going to be playing some of their old OK Silver foes. And as for Belding, now Belding is the big winner of this, because they have been in Division V, Jacob, as you mentioned, for a very long time. And they are going up against Grand Rapids Catholic Central and West Catholic every year, and it hasn't worked out. Obviously, those teams are really, really good. And now Belding is going to be playing a lot of schools from small towns. I think this is a much better fit for Belding. So I think, if I may make an early prediction, you guys.
I don't think anybody's going to stop you.
I think the Belding Black Knights are a team to look for. But we are counting down sidelines. Matt, are you excited?
I'm very excited. It's always exciting when an 8-man team gets the bump up. It's great.
Yeah, Jacob?
It'll be here before you know it, yeah. A couple different changes in there. I'm excited for Whitney Bell taking over at Caledonia because he was on staff last season, so a little bit of continuity for the Scots. Don't have to start from scratch over there.
Very exciting, but let us not get ahead of ourselves. We're going to switch gears to college basketball, where the transfer portal is open, and a few of our local players will be in a new home next year. Maddie, what you got?
Yeah, well, let's start with Northview High School. Graduate Kyle Vanderjagt, the University of Toledo, announced last week that Vanderjagt is going to be a Rocket. He started his college career down in Tennessee at Belmont University, and this past year he played at Central Michigan, where he competed in all 31 games for the Chippewas. He averaged 11 points per game and was the MAC 6th man of the year. Now the Chippewas will have to face against him a couple of times this year, potentially. Vanderjagt has 1 year of eligibility remaining. Meanwhile, former Zeeland West standout Merritt Alderink is also looking for a new home. Alderink was a 2024 Mr. Basketball finalist before playing his freshman year at Indiana State. He played 13 games this season for the Sycamores, averaging just under 5 minutes and 2.5 points per game. Alderink has not yet announced where he'll next play basketball next season. The transfer portal window closes on April 22nd.
You guys, we're going to have to see where this plays out for Merritt Alderink, but as for Kyler Vanderjagt, I think this is a good move for him. No disrespect to Central fans, but even though he's staying in the MAC, Toledo, historically a stronger program. But how about all of the players that are in the transfer portal right now between the men's division and the women's division? It's hundreds of players that are going to be somewhere else next year.
College basketball is a little bit of a mess right now. We heard Tom Izzo talk about it well before the season ended, because he has to worry about it when Michigan State's they're in the Sweet 16, they're in the Elite 8, and he also has to be monitoring the portal because it opens before the season ends. So if Tom Izzo's just focusing on the Elite 8, Michigan State goes and then they lose to Auburn and they're out, and all of a sudden he's behind on the transfer portal. So that's a big issue that, he obviously wants to see go away. For these players, I mean, they are just going into the portal left and right. I mean, to stick with Michigan State, you look at a guy like Trey Holloman, he had a great season. He was probably going to be a starter next season. But with the year that he had, it goes through his mind, well, I can get a lot of money somewhere else. So even though I have comfortability with Michigan State, even though I know I'm probably going to be a starter next season, let me go into the portal and see if I can make some more money, even if it's not with a winner. So it's not a great scene right now.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. We talked about this a little bit before we started recording here. Michigan State, you saw the graphic on social media. They were the only team in the Sweet 16 where all 5 of their starters started their career at Michigan State. But now, as you pointed out, Holloman is gone, and so Tom Izzo, he doesn't like to use the transfer portal, but he might have to. Matt, do you think transfer portal's a little out of control?
I 100% agree with you guys that the transfer portal is a little out of control, especially when you look at a team like Michigan State. He likes to rely on players that have grown up in the program, and I think he's going to have a tough time replacing that Trey Holloman spot, but we'll see, next season how it is going forward.
Well, it's not just collegiate level where we're seeing changes. Jacob, there's also a local connection to the latest moves in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, switching gears over to the Diamond out in Milwaukee. Just one day, on Sunday, Hamilton native and former Davenport pitcher Grant Wolfram, he got the call to the Major League. Super exciting for him. He was up for a day. He was in uniform on Sunday. He didn't get into the game for the Brewers. Well, he woke up Monday morning and he wasn't on the team anymore. The Brewers made a trade with the Red Sox, so his 40-man spot was gone. They designated Wolfram for assignment, which is a big blow because he's not just going to the minor leagues, he's off the 40-man roster, which means to get the call up again, they're going to need to knock someone else off the 40-man roster. So the chances the Brewers call him back up to the majors, not super high, but good news after that He didn't have to go through the waiver process. He actually got traded to the Baltimore Orioles on Monday evening, which is a great thing because he's going to be on the Orioles 40-man roster. We're not sure right now if he's going to head to Baltimore or go to Norfolk, Virginia, which is where their AAA home is. But either way, still a good chance for him to hopefully get a shot in Baltimore. Very exciting that he was able to wear the uniform, sit on the bench, get a taste of big league baseball, but he didn't get in a game. So, we can only hope that that chance comes eventually. But quite the career he's had, going to Hamilton and then D2, Davenport, made his way to Central Michigan. He's 28, so it's really been a grind through minor league baseball, but he's close. I mean, he got there. So, hopefully only a few more steps for him to get in a Major League Baseball game.
Jacob, I am a Chicago Cubs fan, and this is just one more reason to hate the Milwaukee Brewers.
Nobody's gonna blame you there.
It's kind of interesting though, because Hamilton is not that far from Saugatuck, and as we know that Saugatuck's Blake Dunn, he is up on the big league roster for the Cincinnati Reds. So very exciting. There's something in the water out there on the lakeshore. We're sticking with baseball. Coming up next on 13 Plus, we'll tell you about the Tigers prospects you can see at LMCU Ballpark this summer when you check out the West Michigan Whitecaps.
"13 on Your Sidelines", sponsored by Rand Insurance Group, a better path forward.
Welcome back to Sidelines Plus. Now, one of the best parts about living on this side of the state is you get to see the Tigers prospects before they earn their Tigers stripes. You see what I did there? Jacob, there are some players for the West Michigan Whitecaps that we are going to want to keep our eyes out for.
Yeah, first of all, it makes me think of Frosted Flakes with the Tiger stripes.
They're
but
great.
This is a good year to go check out the Whitecaps. The Tigers right now, they have the highest ranked prospect system in all of Major League Baseball. So Scott Harris, president and GM of the Tigers, he's doing great stuff right now, whether it's through the draft or through trades. He's gotten some really great players for this farm system. But right now for the Whitecaps, they have the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 6th ranked prospects. So these are guys that are going to be for the Tigers, not a guarantee, but almost a guarantee by 2027, 2028. So we'll start right from the top. Number 2 prospect, Max Clark. He was the number 3 pick in the 2023 MLB draft. And this kid, I mean, he got picked right out of high school. This is his 2nd full season in the minors. He finished the year last year with West Michigan. But what I really admire about Max Clark is, I mean, the pressure is on for this kid because he was drafted out of high school. The first pick that year, Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz was 2nd, Wyatt Langford was 4th for the Rangers. The 3 guys all picked around him. They were drafted out of college. So all 3 of those guys, they've already made it to Major League Baseball. They're already contributing. So fans, they're looking at Clark saying, well, why aren't you doing the same? Well, those guys went to college for 3 or 4 years. I mean, Clark, he was in algebra 2 years ago, sitting in his high school class. He's 20 years old, so he's just continuing to grind. When we talked to him on Media Day, he admitted that, yeah, I mean, he looks at the rankings, he listens to what people has to say, but he's just trying to stay level-headed. And then right behind him, it's another 20-year-old, the 3rd-ranked prospect for the Tigers, Kevin McGonigal. He right now is going through it because he has been doing so well, but he got to West Michigan at the end of last year. He played 21 games, and then he broke his hand. So he was out the rest of the year. He got fully healthy in the offseason, and he hurt his ankle on opening day this year after going 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. So when, we're excited to see him for an extended period, now he's going to be out once again for an extended period. So that's a big blow, but he's just as high ranked of a prospect as Clark is. And then number 6 on the Tigers prospect list is a catcher, Jose Briseño. He won the Triple Crown in the Arizona Fall League this year. That means he led the league in average, home runs, and RBIs, which had never been done before. So that is super exciting. He's gotten off to a quick start. So 3 guys that you need to see in West Michigan. These guys are going to be Tigers before you know it. Tony Capicelli, he's back for his 2nd year as the manager of the West Michigan Whitecaps, and at Media Day last week, he just talked about how exciting it is to have all these guys on this year's roster.
It looks great on paper, but I mean, really on paper means we haven't done anything yet. I mean, on paper, it's a really good team, but they got to go out and perform, and play the game the right way. And avoid making mistakes that end up being costly. So the roster is good and the offense is good, but we're not going to win just by showing up. No.
You know, Jacob, you mentioned one of the highest ranked in the MLB for farm system. One of the things I really like about the Tigers is that they really give these guys a chance to develop. There is a good chance that you are going to see a West Michigan Whitecap become a Detroit Tiger. That's not the case at all of the Major League Baseball teams.
They're building the right way for sure. I mean, after a run to October last year where you saw former Whitecaps who were with the Tigers help them in the playoff run. I know Tiger fans really would have liked to see ownership maybe open the wallet a little bit more this offseason and add on to those young players, but there's so much hope that, you know, the future is coming, and it's not just for this year, for next year. When you have the highest ranked farm system, I mean, you're looking down the line 5 years from now, you could still be good. 7, 8, 9 years from now. So, you know, it's a very promising future for Tigers fans.
All right. Enough with the X's and O's, Jacob, because one of the best things about hitting up the Whitecaps game is all the different food you can try. Yes. Maddie, what's new this season?
Yeah, Matt, and strangely enough, the morning team got to go for the media event for Whitecaps food, not the sports team. But some of the new items include the Devil Dogs, which are deviled egg topped hot dogs, Cookie Monster Dippin' Dots, and flavored Pentwater popcorn. You can also enjoy fried asparagus bites, Boom Pop, orange pop wine slushies, and one of the expected favorites on the menu is the contest winner from fan submissions, the Southern Walking Porky. A lot of exciting options.
I actually saw a lot of people eating that one specifically on opening day, that porky thing.
That looks really good. Maddie, what excites you the most on that menu?
I love a deviled egg, Matt, and
Seriously?
They're so good. On a hot dog?
Gosh.
Oh, so
I think
good.
I am the only person in this universe that does not like deviled eggs, and when that idea got brought up, as they said in the 80s, gag me with a spoon. But hey, no offense, because the rest of the stuff on the Whitecaps menu looks really good. That Southern Porky, I'm all about that. The Cookie Monster Dippin' Dots, Jacob.
Honestly, I can't believe Dippin' Dots are still hanging in there.
They're so
That's
good.
the ice cream of the future.
Yes, and it has been for years.
It's been the future. You know, asparagus bites. I don't think I'm going to get vegetables at a baseball game. The thing with the deviled eggs that bothers me a little bit is eggs in the heat. I mean, once we're getting to like July, August at the Whitecaps game, I mean, you better eat that thing quick. It's going to be stinky.
Now, you know what? The fried asparagus bites, that is I know you're
also stinky.
You are a native Long Islander, but let me give you a little history lesson.
Let's hear it.
So the Oceana County up there on the lakeshore, that is one of the hottest asparagus spots in the whole nation.
Huh.
So
you're looking for asparagus, nowhere to go.
Chances are that asparagus is locally sourced, and I'm really excited to give that a try.
Well, we all know asparagus makes your pee smell.
Oh, God.
And deviled eggs, you know, eggs in the heat, hot dogs, you know, maybe just stay away from the bathroom at LMCU Ballpark this season.
It took 2 episodes for Sidelines Plus to get canceled.
We're telling you what you don't want to hear, but we're telling you what you need to hear.
You need to hear. These are the facts.
Maybe just stick with the wine slushy.
You know what? July, hot. That's the move.
That sounds great
That's
to me.
the move. Let's go get one. It's a special night on Sidelines Plus because we get to talk about a sport we don't normally touch on. Up next, Maddie talks to a young man who's riding bulls before he's even old enough to drive a car. We'll be right back.
"13 on Your Sidelines", sponsored by Rand Insurance Group, a better path forward.
Welcome back to Sidelines Plus. If you've made it with us this far, you're a true
Good for
fan.
you.
Now, a sport we don't see every day, especially on the sidelines. Maddie went and talked to a very unique kid who plays a very unique sport. Maddie.
Yeah, guys, this one is definitely a wild ride. Last week, I got the chance to head out to Silver Dollar Ranch in Wayland and talk to Caden Blake, an 11-year-old who spends his Monday nights training to bull ride. And I'll tell you, I've never seen anything quite like it. Let's take a look. While most kids spend their free time riding bikes or playing with friends,
It's fun.
11-year-old Caden Blake spends his Friday nights in the ring.
But it's his world.
Caden has been bull riding since he was only 5 years old. And his grandma says at first it was nerve-wracking to watch.
I think Caden explains it best. People ask him, well, aren't you scared? And he goes, yeah, I'm a little bit scared, but I'm a lot excited.
But even facing a bull more than 10 times his size, Caden says he wants to keep riding.
It's basically you're trying to stay on a bull for 8 seconds while they're literal jumping. The only time I get nervous is I've ridden full-size bulls before. I don't just ride mini bulls. I've gotten on full-size bulls.
While bull riding isn't your typical family activity, his grandma, who also grew up in rodeos, wanted him to give it a try.
It was kind of a family thing. I rodeoed I did high school and college rodeo, but I was one of the first MSU rodeo team members. So that was about 50 years ago.
His grandma added that Caden has struggled to fit in at school and in other sports, but bull riding has given him a place where he feels like he belongs.
We tried all kinds of sports, t-ball, soccer, and they didn't work for him. The community for him has been so accepting and so supportive. He lives it. And he goes up to people who know nothing about bull riding and just starts talking like everybody should know all about it, you know. But yeah, it really has been a blessing for him.
Maddie, I happened to notice you didn't try bull riding yourself.
No, I thought about it, but just didn't seem like the right time to give it a shot. But they did tell me that they have people who start as late as 30, so there is still time.
There is still time. I think I'm going to pass. How about you, Jacob?
Yeah, not for the faint of heart. Riding the bulls or the guy that wrangles the bulls, the guys and ladies, that is one tough sport. No, thank you. I'll watch.
I wouldn't have even wanted to be that close to them with the camera. So kudos to you.
Yeah, they were huge. Like I said, I've never seen anything quite like that. It was nerve-wracking.
Awesome. Awesome stuff, Maddie. Awesome stuff, Caden. That is it for the latest edition of Sidelines Plus. You can catch us every week right here on 13 Plus. We'll see you next time, everybody.